Today I'm going to show you how to make a pillow reading book holder with the foldable envelope style pillow cover. I start out by getting the Polyfill basic pillow inserts. Mine is a 16 by 16. So the measurements for your material will be one 17 by 17 piece, one 17 by 12 piece, and one 17 by 13 piece. To make this, and then you'll also have a printed fabric for the front part of your pillow. So I chose some matchable fabric. First and foremost, I washed it so it would not shrink up and not fit the pillow. Once I got it sewed together, I went ahead and washed the material, and then I ironed it all, and then I picked out the coordinating fabrics that I wanted for this pillow, and I picked out this dinosaur pattern and the yellow flannel, and also two pieces of cotton green fabric that I liked. These are actually just $1 each. They were on sale at Joann Fabrics. They're just one of those quarters that you can buy. So what I start out doing is I cut my fabric. To the first piece, I'm going to pick the flannel. I like it because it's soft. I think that'll be really nice for the pillow. So I'm going to cut it 17 by 17. So I already started. I cut off the edges where it had frayed off from being washed. And so I've got my start to being measured on my board, 17 by 17. And so I'm going to cut that really fast here. And I love using this board and the rotary cutting wheel. It just works pretty fast, faster than scissors, I feel like. So I'm going to line it up and cut my fabric. I started making these for gifts for people, and I just kind of sew as a hobby. I think it's a lot of fun, and it gives me something to do that I love. And I also like to make the gifts to share with my friends and family. And everyone that's received one has really seemed to really like it. I always try to pick out a coordinating book to go with it, with the fabric. And I'm going to cut this. And I think that really goes well with it to do that, but you can do what you want. And then after I get these all three cut out, I'm going to have to iron the edge over. I'll show you that here in a few minutes. Get these cut out. Okay, now I've got all my pieces cut out. As you can see, I've done the 17 by 17, the large yellow, a 17 by 12, the green piece, and a 17 by 13, one of the green pieces. And then for the pocket, I actually do a double side piece of material, and I cut it half of the pillow, so it was 8 by 5, and then the sides I'll measure out, it's 17. So that will go on the front of my pillow here. But first I'm going to need to iron the edges over so I can sew that to have a nice clean edge. So as you can see, I took my iron and I just folded over 1/4 of an inch and just steam that down, so that way when I sew, it'll make it easier for me to sew and I don't have to pin the two items that way. And then I also did that with the double piece of the printed fabric. I just folded it over and I will sew down just a straight stitch all the way down. You could do a decorative stitch if you wanted to on the front, this part of the pillow, because you'll be able to really see it, but you don't have to. And I will get started on sewing that in just a second. So I am choosing a coordinating color to sew with. This blue matches my print fabric, so I'm going to use that. And I think I will go ahead and do the zigzag stitch as it will show My machine is a Singer Fashion Mate. So you just come over here and pick which one you want, and then you just click on it and set your machine. It's really super easy, and you can pick whatever stitch you would like. And then just line your fabric up with your presser foot, like so, and then just sew it on down. You just go the width of the presser foot. Okay, here's the finished product. I got it sewed over. And then I like to take my zigzag pinking shear scissors and cut some of the excess off, just to keep for if they do wash it where it won't fray as bad. And then I'm going to go ahead and get my 2 back pieces and get my coordinating thread to go with them. And I'm going to do the same thing, only I'll probably just do a straight stitch across them to seam up the edge. Okay, so I have gotten my pieces all trimmed up. As you can see, I cut all the strings off, and I went ahead and used the pinking shears to go ahead and shimmy up those to make that look a little better. And with pinking shears, it kind of makes a mess, but I like to use my lint roller to get the excess pieces from the pinking shear off of my fabric. This is a great time saver and tool. So now it's time to pin my fabrics together to be able to make the final sewing. So I use the first piece, I do the front piece of the fabric towards me. So if it was a print, then we do the forward facing. And then I put my pocket for my book on top of that, and I line that up really good. And then once I get that lined up and pinned, then I go ahead and put on my other fabric, but I put it to where it's facing the front side inward. So it goes on here, and it doesn't really matter if you do the 17 by 12 piece first or the 17 by 13 piece first, because you're doing an envelope style pillow cover, so it won't really matter which is which. So then I put that one, and then I do the same thing on this one, and I put it to where the fabric is facing inward, the nice side, and get it all lined up, and then I'm going to pin it all the way around. Okay, once you got it pinned all the way around, you're ready to sew it. I choose to just do a straight stitch, and I've got my green fabric, or green thread to go with my green fabric, ready to go. And I just come over to my machine, and I just line it up with my foot. I actually am going to leave a little bit over, about a 5/8 allowance there, because I want to take my pinking shears and cut all the way around it again once I get it sewed together. So that way, if they do have to take off the cover and they have to wash it, it's easily to wash, and it hopefully will not fray too much for them. Then I just take and I sew it all the way around with the straight stitch. When you come to the corner, I actually backstitch just a little bit, and then I will flip the material to sew down to the next corner. If you leave your needle in and then flip your fabric around, it makes it, put your presser foot up and then flip your fabric around, it makes it really easy to turn that corner. So once I have it sewed, then I just take and cut off my edges at an angle, and then I take my pinking shears and go all the way around the pillowcase to help with the fraying if it gets washed. Okay, so once I've got that all done, you can see I've got edge pinking straight around, and then I've got my pillow ready to be turned inside outside, and I will do that. Okay, here's my final product. I've got it all folded the correct way that it's supposed to be folded. I took my edges and I used a little piece of dowel to get the corners turned out for the corners of the pillow. But you can see this is what it looks like. It's an envelope style. And I will get my pillow in it and the books and show you the final product. So here is the final product once I got my pillow in and got the book set in. I actually had my favorite dino book to go with this, but you can pick any kind of book that you would like or do 2 books. I've also done before where I've done a coloring book and a thing of crayons and a reading book. But this is just a great way for kids to have it and to be able to take it along with them and carry with their book and use it maybe in the car or just in their room at nighttime. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it helps you to be able to make one of these pillows yourself. Thank you for taking time to watch.